Improve it. Improve it.
Podcast.
Improve it, peeps. Welcome to today's show. I am so excited you are here. I'm Erin Deal, and if we've never met, I am the founder of the professional development company Improve It, the host of this show, and the author of the new Amazon bestselling book, I See You, A Leader's Guide to Energizing Your Team Through Radical Empathy. Now, Improve It is more than a podcast. We are an actual company. We are an improv-infused talent development company for the new generation of work. This is our show. And if you press play, my friend, it's because you are a people leader who cares about the people that you lead and the lives that you touch, and you want to make this world a better place. So, we are going to get right into today's episode, my friends, because I got some juicy, good chicky nuggets worth of wisdom for you today. And I want to start with a question from one of our amazing peeps from our peeps community. Let's hear from them now.
Hey, Erin. I know having a vision is supposed to be super important, but honestly, I'm not even sure where to start. How do I come up with a vision that actually means something? And more importantly, how do I get my team to actually care about it?
Okay, so how many of you can relate to this question? You have a vision, but you have no idea where to start. And how do you get your team to get on board with this vision? I get it. I was you. I am you. We are one, my friends. Now, let's face it, most of us know that having a clear vision is super critical. But how often do we actually take the time to create one that excites and unites our team? Now, in today's episode, get ready because we're going to break down some strategies to craft a vision that's not just words on a wall. You're not walking into the employee kitchen, okay, and seeing the mission statement, but it's a powerful guiding force for you and for your team. And whether you're leading a small group or an entire organization, by the end of this episode, I'm telling you, you will have the tools to set a vision that truly drives impact. So, my friends, let's jump on in. I want to start off with a little anecdotal story for you. I found this story and I thought it was really fitting for today. So, it's called The Story of the Two Wolves. In a small town, an elder shared a powerful story with his grandson about the internal struggle we all face. He said, inside each of us, there are two wolves. One wolf represents fear, anger, and resentment, and the other represents love, hope, and vision. And the boy listened to his grandfather and he said, well, Grandpa, which wolf wins? And the elder paused for a moment and he said, the one that you feed. This story is a perfect analogy for vision setting, especially vision setting when it comes to leading a team. Just as we have the power to choose which wolf we're going to nourish, ultimately our ego or our higher self-love, we as leaders, we must decide what vision we want to cultivate and share with our team. And I will say this, a clear, uniting, and inspiring vision can uplift a team, while a vague or negative focus can lead to confusion, disengagement, quiet quitting, all the things that you hear, all the buzzwords. But by feeding the right wolf, the one of hope and a shared vision, my friends, you can empower your team to move forward to a brighter future. So when you take the time to develop a meaningful vision and you engage your team in this process, trust me, magic happens. Everyone feels aligned and motivated. When we feed that right wolf, we all win. Excitement, love, hope, positivity, they always win. They always win. Don't let your ego, the other wolf, the fear, resentment wolf, win. Feed the love, the shared alignment, and shared vision. So I have a seven-step framework for vision setting with your team as we head into 2025. And if you're driving in your car, you're taking a walk, or you're in the shower right now, I want you to give me a heck yeah if you are ready for it. Oh, I felt it. I felt it, peeps. Thank you so much. So here is your 7-step framework for vision setting. If you got a pen and paper, make sure to jot down these notes. I'm going to recap it at the end for you. So also make sure you know too that if you sign up for our newsletters, we give you a rundown, sort of a higher level overview every Wednesday of these shows. So this one is a good one. It's nice and juicy, packed with tangible outcomes. So get on our newsletter list if you're not on that. And you can do that just by going to our website, learntoimproveit.com, and make sure you get on that newsletter list for this complete breakdown. All right. So here we go. Number 1 of your 7-step framework is start with the why. Why vision matters for leaders. Okay. Why this matters for you. I'm going to tell you why it matters for you, and then you're going to translate why it matters for your team. So you have to introduce this concept of a vision and its impact on your team to your team. It's a motivational tool, but it's more than that. It's a strategic asset that aligns your team and it fuels your goal achievement. So for example, let's just say this. You are led by a man named Chad, okay? And if you've read my book, you know that I had a Chad in my own life. Chad, not so great of a leader. Chad, your boss, comes up with the vision for 2025 on his own. He's got the mission, he's got the goals, he's got the revenue. He uses words like strategic and synergy and alignment. And his vision is strictly that, his vision. You implement it because Chad's your boss and you're doing what you're told, but you don't feel called or aligned with it, and you're somewhat bored and resentful, and you don't have a say in any of the process, so you don't have a say in the outcomes. Generally, you're just checked out. You don't care because guess what? Chad didn't care to involve you. Now, let's do the opposite. Let's do the reverse. Let's say Chad pulls you into the vision and you're motivated to set and achieve goals because you've been involved in the process of creating them. He brings you in from the very start to brainstorm 2025 vision setting. He brings you in on every meeting that talks about Vision 2025 vision setting. He helps you set many milestones and you achieve them to achieve the greater goals that you have in 2025. So you're now seeing the full picture. You're hungry for the results. You have team alignment and overall alignment in the assignment. So step 1. You ultimately want to set the stage by emphasizing the importance of a clear vision as the foundation for your team. It is going to help your team with their performance. It is effective leadership in at its finest. You're going to let them know why you're doing it because you want them to be involved. So when you actually get the goals that you have achieved, you can all celebrate that success. And one way to do this, to tell your team why you're bringing them in, because maybe you haven't done this in years past, is share a story of your own about a time when you weren't brought into a vision setting process, how it made you feel, and why you're bringing them in on this so that they can feel empowered and ready to rock for 2025. All right? That's step 1. Tell them the why. Step 2, you're going to define what a good vision looks like. So you can't even start the vision setting process without understanding what success looks like. So you want to make sure that you are giving an effective vision, that it has clarity, it has relevance, and it has achievability. So here are some examples of strong versus vague visions, and I'm going to share them with you. Feel free to share these same ones with your team, but I'll also give you a chat GPT prompt to help you come up with more for your team. So here's an example of a vague vision with a company you might know called Google. I don't know, you might have heard of it. Just a little guy. So let's say that Google's vague vision was to be a leading internet company, right? It's not necessarily achievable. It's not really clear. It's not really relevant. So how do we change that vague vision into a strong vision? This is actually their vision: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So this is why that vision works. That strong vision is specific, it's ambitious, it's clear, it focuses on organizing information and making it accessible, which provides a powerful rallying point for their team members across the company to think innovatively about search, data and user experience. That is a strong vision. Another example, IKEA. Now, I used to live in Chicago. Let me say this for free. Schaumburg, Illinois, the only thing I know about it is IKEA. Okay, I love IKEA. And I will tell you, the first 10 years of my life, every piece of furniture in my Chicago apartment was from IKEA. So if you don't know what IKEA is, it is a gigantic store with pretty nominally priced furniture. So let's just say they were coming up with their vision, and that vague vision looked like to be a leader in affordable furniture. Here's a stronger vision: to create a better everyday life for many people. Now, why it works. IKEA's vision goes beyond merely selling furniture. It communicates a deeper purpose of improving your daily life, which resonates with customers and employees alike, and it encourages initiatives around sustainability, affordability, and innovation in design. Now, you can use a ChatGPT prompt. I want you to put this prompt into ChatGPT. Share examples of strong versus vague visions, highlighting how a clear vision can inspire action and engagement to give your team examples. You could literally just put in ChatGPT, share examples of a strong versus vague vision from companies around the world. That could also be your ChatGPT. But if you want different companies, and it might be a great idea to even share competitors of yours vision and what their vague vision would be versus their actual vision, so you can share this with your team. So ultimately, you're defining what a good vision looks like. And so this is to create team alignment. It's going to give the team a practical understanding of what they should aim for in crafting a vision. So that's step 2. You have now defined what the good vision looks like. Step 3 is you are going to create a compelling vision for your team. So I'm going to walk you through what we do here at Improve It for vision setting, and I'm going to help you understand how we do it. I want you to take from this what works for you and apply it. But I will tell you that this not only aligns with my goals, but my team's goals, and it helps us set goals for the future. We teach teams all over the world how to do this. So if you are unfamiliar with setting a leadership vision and goal setting framework, let me introduce you, my friends, to Yes And. Yes And is one of the most important teaching tools that we use at Improve It. It is the root of improv. It means, yes, I hear you, and I'm going to add something to the conversation. So you gather your team in a room, and you're going to appoint a chief yes and officer. Typically, this person is an outspoken, positive person that you can rely on. So you want to choose that person as your chief yes and officer. Then you're going to choose another person to be the scribe. And this person's job is to jot down all of the ideas that you're coming up with in the brainstorm. You're going to set a timer. 5 minutes is usually long enough. Let me just say that 5 minutes in a brainstorm can go a long way. And you're going to use yes and to come up with a compelling vision. Now, this could be a priority that you're setting for 2025. It could be a mission statement. It could be a goal that you want for the quarter. Whatever it is in terms of your vision setting, you're going to use yes and to brainstorm ideas. Here's how it works. So let's say I am Erin, okay, as you know, and I'm sharing an idea. So we're coming up with priorities for 2025. And I would say, yes, and we're going to come up with some new workshop concepts. Nicole and my team will then say, yes, and we'll also come up with a new TikTok strategy. And then yes, and would come from Jenna, and she would add another idea to this. As the ideas are being shared, you're yes-anding the person before you's ideas, and the scribe is jotting down every single idea. Once the timer goes off, you're then going to look at your gigantic list of ideas and you're going to compile them into different buckets. You'll notice a theme. So one of the themes might be sales strategy. One of the themes might be content strategy. One of the themes might be marketing strategy. And you're going to narrow down all the ideas into buckets. And then as a team, put your head down. One person, probably you, the leader, is going to count the votes, and you will vote on the best idea. You'll do this for as many different visions or priorities as needed. And I have to tell you, it works every time because here's what happens. Everyone feels included because they've shared ideas. No one's idea is negated and no one is shut down. And so creativity is at its highest because everyone is yes standing each other. Even if your idea wasn't chosen, you still feel a part of the process because you were in the initial brainstorming session. So this is a step-by-step outline that your team can follow to shape your unique visions. And I want to let you know, this is part of a vision setting workshop that we have at Improve It. We use this exact model towards the end of our vision setting workshop, which you will walk away with at the end of this workshop, 5 to 6 visions or priorities for your team for the next year. It's a 2-hour workshop in person, an hour and a half workshop online. And I have to tell you, it's tried and true, and it's a really cool way to engage with your team differently. So if you're not going to work with Improve It or a company like Improve It, that is totally fine. Take this activity, use it, put it into motion with your team. Here's step 4. You're going to engage your team in the vision creation process. So it is so important to involve your team in this vision setting process to increase their buy-in and motivation. You're ultimately going for team engagement and empathy-driven leadership. How can you do this? As I mentioned before, we have a vision setting workshop. Would love to talk to you about it. You can also do this in one-on-one conversations and just have a yes and conversation with a team member in your office and compile all of the ideas on your one-on-one conversations into one. You can also do the same type of brainstorming in a Google Doc or a shared doc like on Dropbox. So everybody has the opportunity to see other people's ideas and add in their own and then vote. So again, there's different ways to engage your team in the vision creation process, but you want to make sure you do this because you're going to have stronger team alignment and commitment. I will tell you, at Improve It, we use something called a VTO, which is Vision Traction Organizer. It is from the book Traction by Gino Wickman. And if you're a small business owner listening to this show, I cannot recommend it enough. It's called the Entrepreneurial Operating System, is the entire system. But basically, we have created 2 pages of shared aligned goals. And every quarter, every 90 days, we come up with a set of rocks or things that we have to do first and achieve first and are the most aligned things in our business, our highest priorities, our highest visions over that 90 days. And together we are involved in that process, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. I have to tell you, we started implementing Traction in July of 2024, and we have had the best 6 months of collaboration, goal setting, and goal achievement that we've ever had in business. So I put a link to that book in the show notes for you as well. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a small business owner to use it. You could use it just with your team inside of a larger organization too. So just another tool for you in your toolkit, but we have been doing this. And I have to say, having my team involved in the team creation process and the vision setting process has been phenomenal because we all understand that we're in this together. We all have our own specific goals, our shared goals, and we look at them consistently. So I'm going to talk about that in just a minute in another step. Step 5. Okay, so now that you've engaged your team in this vision setting process, you're going to communicate the vision effectively. So you want to share this vision across your organization or outwardly with clarity and enthusiasm. You want to have some storytelling. You want to evoke emotional connection. You want to adapt the message for different team members or departments. But how can you set team goals and implement? Oh, I've got the best idea for you. It's called ad campaign. And this is something else we do in our vision setting workshop. After you use yes and to come up with all of the different priorities, you voted on your top 4 to 5. We break out into small groups and each team is given a priority and then they're to come up with a product or a service that can make that priority come to life. So let's say, for example, that one of our visions was to create new content for our workshops in 2025. And my team's was going to create an ad campaign around that. And so we come up with a jingle. And I'm literally coming up with this on the spot, so bear with me, my peeps. Okay, so let's just say we're coming up with new content for 2025, and we come up with a service called Content Creator. And this content is going to uplift, inspire, and involve everyone in the room. We use this content creator. It's kind of like ChatGPT, but it delivers content for us. And it also gives us this great feeling of innovation and computerization while still using all of our ideas. So we take all of our shared ideas, put it into this computer. It spits out the workshop for us. Bada bing, bada boom. We've created content for 2025. And so my team might demonstrate that in the form of a sketch, or we might come up with a little jingle to drive it home. But we use ad campaign as a way to deliver the vision and the priorities with some fun, some flair, and some excitement. So, how can you do this without using ad campaign? You can demonstrate it with sketches. You can create fun memes to display around your office. You can come up with fun slogans and taglines that you can put on posters. But you want to equip your team with different methods for delivering the vision in a way that resonates and sticks with not only the team, but the organization. All right, here is number 6 in our 7-step framework. Aligning daily actions and long-term goals with the vision. So you want to keep this vision alive. You don't want to just set it and forget it. You want it to show up in everything you do. You want to recognize the small wins. So I will tell you how you can have a high-performance team just by using this strategy, all right? You can set priorities either for the year or let's say for the quarter. And every weekly meeting that you have, you review those priorities and you see whether it's on track or off track. You don't set any other priorities. You just focus on the priorities at hand. And this will create momentum and focus around your priorities and vision. So like I mentioned, we use the book Traction at Improve It internally, and we set rocks or priorities every 90 days. And what the goal of that 90 days is to achieve those rocks. That is the only goal. Somebody like me who is an innovator who comes up with so many more ideas day after day cannot add anything to those rocks. We have to wait till the following quarter. And every weekly meeting, we go through them and each person is assigned a rock. So that rock is owned by one person, although we're all trying to achieve the same goals. And that person has to share whether it's on track or off track. So putting this into place in your weekly meetings, following up on them, not just setting it at the beginning of the year and returning to it is super important. And here is your 7th step, my friends. You are reviewing and evolving the vision as needed. So let's say you're setting priorities and visions for just the entire year of 2025 and business grows. Things change. I don't know, a pandemic happens and you have to completely change all of your content to virtual. You can be adaptable and you can refine the vision as needed. Adapting your leadership vision as needed is huge. We do our own priorities every 90 days that Improve It. That's what works for us. So maybe for you, you want a 1-year plan to help you achieve your overarching goal. But I will tell you, breaking it into 90-day chunks has been super helpful for our team, and it has allowed us to stay on track, to pivot and adapt as needed, knowing that we have a full vision ahead for the year 2025 of things that we want to achieve, but we're breaking it down every 90 days to get there. So this helps with our peeps question. Thank you so much for giving us that question. It was such a great way to spark this conversation. If you have a question you want us to answer on Improve It, the podcast, send it on in. There's a link in the show notes to SpeakPipe that you can use that will help you just deliver that question directly to my inbox. All you have to do is press record, ask your question, and it will send it directly to me. So I just want to recap your 7-step framework here, my friends, for vision setting with your team as we head into 2025. Number 1, start with the why. Number 2, define what a good vision looks like. Number 3, you're going to create a compelling vision together. And I gave you that concept of yes and, take it and use it. Number 4, you're engaging your team in the vision setting process. So whether you're using an outside resource or you're using Google Docs or something electronically, or you're just facilitating this yourself, you're engaging your team. Then you're going to communicate it effectively, whatever mode of communication works best for your organization. Deliver it to everyone so you're held accountable for these goals. Number 6, you're going to align your daily actions and long-term goals with the vision. So you're not setting these goals and forgetting them. You're making them a part of every weekly meeting and holding people and yourself accountable for achieving them. And then number 7, reviewing and evolving the vision as needed, giving some space and some grace to allow things to adapt because things do happen in our business, but making sure that we are keeping our top priorities, and adapting when we need to ensures that the team feels seen, heard, and valued, and shows that you're an empathetic leader. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind you of this. A compelling vision isn't just a nice to have. It's the compass that guides your team through uncertainty and change. And like that story we talked about with the elder and the 2 wolves, you have the power to choose what you feed. So by nurturing this vision of hope and clarity, more importantly, you empower your team to align their goals and their energy toward a shared future together. And I want to challenge you. This is your homework. I want you to take the time this week to reflect on your vision and how you're leading your team. And I want you to ask yourself, what do I truly aspire to achieve? And ask your team, what do we truly aspire to achieve together? I want you to embrace that process of crafting the vision. Have fun with it, involve your team, communicate it with passion. Let's feed the right wolf, the one that inspires, motivates, and leads to success, my friends. And if any of this content resonates with you and you would like to talk about our vision setting workshop, please reach out. You can email us at info@learntoimproveit.com. Our vision setting workshop is great any time of the year. It doesn't have to be in January of 2025. It's 2 hours or 1.5 hours virtually. So 2 hours in person, 1.5 hours on Zoom. And it's an amazing opportunity to feed the right wolf with your team and a great team bonding experience on top of that. You can literally do it anytime and keep your team aligned and working towards feeding that right wolf. My friends, you know what I'm about to say. I want you to keep failing, keep improving, because this world needs that very special it that only you can bring. I'm so proud of you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.